All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim, name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me, and you will not come to me, that you might have life. I receive not from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. How you doing, Sister Vanessa? I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe if you receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my word? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Isaiah 11:1. We get it done. There shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Ruach of Yahuwah shall rest upon him, and the Ruach of wisdom and understanding, the Ruach of counsel and might, the Ruach of knowledge and the fear of Yahuwah. Shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yahuwah. He shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. For with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. So what's happening, man? They hit this Deuteronomy 33, man. I know we talked about Asher from Genesis. Tavon, what's happening, man? Hey, Joanne. Don Joanne. Hey, you hear me talking to you. Don't do that when I'm talking to you. What's happening, man? So we're going to go ahead with Asher, Deuteronomy 33 and 24. Peace, brother, on my man.
And of Asher, he said, Asher be Baruch with children, let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil.
Mm-hmm.
Your shoes, iron and brass, and as your days, so shall your strength.
So let's stop right there, right? Let blessed be his children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren. Shalom, what's happening? So look. Give me Isaiah 8 and 14, I believe. Let's deal with this aspect of his children. Remember this is that's what blessed. We go to Psalms 127. Nigga told me they say everybody don't want children. And that's true. Shalom, Mother Shalom. But you know what the words say about having some children. Y'all know what the words say about having some children? Well, let's look and see what it says. Let's run this Isaiah 8 first and 14. Come on with it.
And he shall be for a sanctuary.
That's right, Mother Sharon.
For a stone of stumbling and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Yasharal, for a gin, for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken. Find the testimony, seal the law among my disciples.
What else?
I'll wait upon Yahuwah that hide his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him. Behold, I and the children whom Yahuwah have given me.
I and the children whom Yahuwah have given me.
For signs and for wonders in Yasharal.
They for what?
Signs and for wonders in Yasharal. From Yahuwah of hosts, which dwell in Mount Zion.
That's good. Now let's come to Psalms 127 and 1, man. I already said that.
Say, except Yahuwah build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yahuwah keep the city, the watchman wake in vain.
What's it vain for you to do?
Vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late.
It don't make no sense for you to get up early in the morning and for you to sit up late and take your black behind the bed. I just literally see that dude from Jacksonville who they been messing with. He said, you want to know how I get up at 3:50 in the morning? That boy said he go to sleep at 7:30.
Of course.
Well, going to sleep at 7:30 is amazing.
I mean, as soon as he get off of work, it's done.
Listen, that made me think about when Muffin was a little girl and she used to be like, it's bedtime, it's still light outside. You know what I'm saying? To go to bed while it's still light outside, I'm not talking about take a nap, but like it's over for the hour. It's wild work.
That's normal. What are you talking about?
To go to bed at 7:30 while it's still light outside?
If it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's still normal. You get up when the sun comes up, go sit and sun down.
No.
That was life.
Because some people still were rolling. They had night watches.
Yeah, that's who all on night watch? Not a gang of people.
So it wasn't a little bit of people. Going to bed at 7:30 is crazy work. It's still light outside.
That's for you. That's the life you live, sir.
How many people you know go to bed at 7:30 under the age of 65?
Under the age of 65. People that farm, that's probably about it.
You don't know nobody who farm who do that. Psalms 127 too. You ain't never met a farmer in your life.
It's vain for you to rise up early.
You only know farm. What is it? Old McDonald. Psalms 127 too.
Vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives beloved sleep.
To eat the bread of who?
Of sorrows.
I'm only focusing on that because we just got finished talking about this. To eat the bread of who?
Of sorrows.
Go on and get it for him, man. Matthew 26 and 25. Just on general principle. Go ahead.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said,
Master. This is Matthew 26 and 25. Go ahead.
Is it I? He said unto him, you have said.
You said it.
And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and baruched it and brake and gave to the disciples and said,
what he said?
Take, eat, this is my body.
Mm-hmm.
And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave to them, saying, Drink you all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Abba's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then Yahushua said unto them,
what he said?
All you shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered.
What else?
But after I am risen again, I go before you into Galilee. Peter answered and said unto him, Though all shall be offended because of you, yet will I never be offended.
Go ahead.
Yahushua said unto him, Truly I say unto you that this night before the cock crow you shall deny me thrice.
Go ahead.
Peter said, Though I should die with you, yet will I not deny you. Likewise also said all the disciples.
Go ahead.
Then come Yahushua with them into a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, Sit you here while I go and pray yonder.
Come on.
Took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy.
Very heavy. What he said?
Said he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death.
Even unto death.
Tarry you here and watch with me.
Now, you see how these are the bread of sorrows? But he said he give his beloved sleep. Well, go back and tell him what sleep is. So we're going to get something on the children in a moment. Go ahead.
That is Shana, that's sleep.
So to eat the bread, it's vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late. Let me ask you this question. Did Yahushua rise up early? And if so, how would you explain it? Did he sit up late? We just read how he ate the bread of sorrows. How did he give his beloved sleep? How does that work? What does that look like? How do you rationalize that? So I was talking with my dog last night, man. And get him Ecclesiastes 5 and 12. And we were just discussing this aspect, of course, of something that we discussed over here. What's wrong with Oh. A son that we've discussed plenty times. When you look at 99.9% of people who in the word, they don't believe it. This is just something that they're doing. This ain't really what they want to do. The conversation we was having, it was, okay, you can't, if you don't believe, you wouldn't keep the commandments. But I'm telling you, I've seen people who don't believe, but they going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was mentioning that last week, that complacency and going through the motions, man, that ain't gonna get you, that's not gonna do nothing for you when it's time for your faith to get tried. Now, of course, I showed him the example of Amaziah because he was saying it was kind of ambiguous to him. But, you know, it's like the understanding of faith is greater than keeping the commandments. Keeping the commandments can't save your soul. You know what I'm saying? It can't. Because the minute you break them, you got to die. The commandments don't lead, the law don't lead for no forgiveness. It don't lead for no mercy. And it don't give life. Now, of course, people will grab certain verses, but the reality is, can you name one person who got life because they kept the law? You can't name one, but you can name a lot of people who died because they broke it. You can point to that man who was picking up them sticks. You can point to Adam. You can point to, when people look, well, David, the law didn't show mercy to David. Yahuwah did. That's not who did. The law didn't do that. Yahuwah did. Because this man pronounced judgment against himself that he was supposed to die. You know what I'm talking about? The law didn't show mercy to Manasseh. Yahuwah did. The law didn't show mercy to Nebuchadnezzar. Yahuwah did. And the point that I was trying to really, yes, sir. The point that I was really trying to, well, remember, you got to have the rise up early to sit up late. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, Brother Robert. Give them sit up late by definition, and rise up early. And the reason why I mention that is that we never look at Yahuwah. As I was explaining, you got the righteousness which is of God, and then you have the righteousness of the law. And the sad part is most brothers don't know the difference between the two. They think they're mutually exclusive, and they're not mutually exclusive. We had a conversation. He was like, hey, well, what did Abraham do? Yahuwah said that Abraham was righteous because he believed. I'm like, you understand that Abraham didn't do anything. Now, what he did after the fact was the evidence of what he believed from the initial promise that was given. See, if you believe, you're going to obey this man all the way out, no matter what you encounter, no matter what you experience. But when you lead with the law, this is an individual, they may not believe in Yahuwah. So they may not hold on to that no matter what they experience, no matter what they see, no matter what they go through. They don't have anything to be attached to. Remember what we read last week in 2 Kings 19-29. You have to take root downward to bear fruit upward. You know what I'm talking about? So when you turn around and you look at this, except the corn of wheat fall in the ground, it abide alone. But if it die, it bring forth much fruit. That's why he say those who don't have no root in them, when persecution or tribulation arise because of the word, they are offended because you don't know what you're doing. So then he mentioned one of the verses that most Israelites love to use, which is Psalms 111:10. A good understanding have all those that do his commandment. But you know what the great thing about that verse is? Commandments ain't there. That word commandments is not there. They just put that there. It says, good understanding have all those that do. That word is asa. That means that do the work or produce. So if they're all those that do the work, guess what that take you to? If you were to see the Abraham, you would do the what? The works of Abraham. Shalom, 10K. Abraham did the works of faith. He didn't do no works of no law. This man was willing to offer his son by faith because he believed that even if I sacrifice my son, he would raise him from the dead, because he said, in Isaac shall your seed be called. That's what you told me. You know what I'm talking about? People don't understand that. Most of these niggas won't move on a word. That's what he told Abraham, get up from among all your kindred, everybody you related to, all your friends, the only land you've ever known, and go to the place that I tell you. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're going to encounter when you get there, but yet I trust the individual who told me to go, so I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? That's what these niggas don't understand. Where's explicitly where you they not going to move. Because you don't believe him. It's a lot of niggas not going to. So don't take it. I don't know if I said it. A lot of people not going to move on the word, love. I promise you that. You know what I'm talking about? They not going to move. That's why they don't get the results. You don't believe. You will never get the results you were desiring to get out of this word if you do not believe that Yahuwah is the living Elohim and that what he has promised he will surely bring to pass according to his will, his righteousness, and his timing. There's no way it's going to happen. I'm sorry, I said, what you got for rise up early?
To rise up is kun.
So kun, we already know that.
And
that's
early
to rise.
is shakam.
What's that?
To rise or start early.
To start early.
And then sit up.
See, pause. So did Mashiach rise up early to sit up late? Did he sit up late? What's sit up late?
Sit up is yashab, to dwell, to remain, to sit, abide.
So that's it.
And then late is a car, to delay, hesitate, tarry, defer, remain behind.
So did he sit up to remain behind? Did he defer? Did he delay? Now that's a little closer to what we're looking at. For him to, did he sit up late? No. Because he went in the grave, as we were just really discussing. When the sun went, when it was time for the sun to go down, he went and lay down. He didn't defer. He said, my time has come. It's time for him to lay down. So he didn't rise up early to sit up late. Therefore, he got the bread of sorrows, and his beloved was given sleep. Now give him Ecclesiastes 5:12. Look what that says. We're going to swing to Deuteronomy 28 in a moment. All this springing from Asher and Deuteronomy 33 and 24. We did Deuteronomy 49 and 20 with Asher, whatever verse it was. If it's not 20, forgive me. But we dealt with that already, so we're not going back to that. Go ahead.
The sleep of a laboring man is sweet.
The sleep of a laboring man is what?
It's sweet.
Tell them what laboring mean, man. What did it look? We're going to read it. I ain't got to tell you.
Laboring man is abad, to work.
That's the work. Now just read Psalms 111. This is read because I'm already by Psalms 111. I'll do it. Go to John 17. Psalms 111, y'all. Psalms 111, because we buy that. Because it said the labor, that's abad. That's the word for work. Same way when he said there was no man to till the ground in Genesis with Adam, that's work. We read Wednesday when he said, hey, don't labor for the meat that perish, but labor for the meat that endure the everlasting life. You know what's funny? We had a conversation with a nigga, man. This nigga say he a preacher. We were having a conversation about Marvin Sapp. I know y'all know about Marvin Sapp by this time, of him telling the people close the doors till the people drop the 40 bands. I don't care nothing about that. If you people really, if you cool with somebody doing that to you, that's between you, him, and whatever God it is you claim you serve. That ain't none of my business. I really don't care. But the point of the matter is this. He'd say, do you believe preachers should get paid? Now he's asking certain questions. And I'm answering these questions, but I'm not telling you Psalms 111 and 3. He's like, I need the book, chapter, and verse. I say, man, let me tell y'all something. John 8 say, he that is of Elohim hears Elohim's words. He said, you hear them not because you are not of Elohim. Proverbs tell you that a man of understanding is like a wellspring of life. Now you notice, because I've told you this plenty of times, when the word is in you, it should flow out of you. And if the word is in you, you should know the word when you hear it. If you need somebody to tell you the book, chapter, and verse, there's a problem. Now, when I say that, meaning unless it's like you in a learning situation, you know what I'm saying? That's different. But if you having a conversation and you ask certain stuff and you don't know, okay, I may not remember if it's John chapter 8, verse 12, but I know that's in the book. That's because he acting like he ain't know. Because I say that because when I mentioned that, he said, if you without understanding, you worthy of death. He like, where that's at? I mean, where that's at? How you been teaching the word almost long as I've been alive and you don't know where it's at? This is the stuff that I be talking about. There's no excuse for that. See, again, I'm not talking about you being able to reference, oh, that's Romans 1 and 28. Ain't nobody expecting you to do that 100% of the time. That's not even accurate. They didn't even have book, chapter, and verse then. But you don't know the word when you hear it. And you teaching it. That's the part that I want you to zero in and focus on. And you teaching it. If you do something on a consistent basis, you should have a strong command of it. And I'm not talking about teaching it like, oh, you just on the internet talking. This man got people who follow him. That's inept. It's inexcusable. It's unacceptable. And that's why I be telling y'all about being, because you don't know what this man gonna do with any one of you at any time. You got to be on point. You can't leave no stones unturned. You can't be generalizing. No, man, you got to be razor sharp. Shalom, Jay. You got to be, that man say you got to be apt to teach if you're gonna be a preacher. I mean, you got to be skilled with it. Can't be no novice. Can't be no rookie. You know what I'm saying? He say we nice with the steel, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? We put in work too. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying about? If you don't, that's unfortunate. But nevertheless, right? You got to be on point, man. It's serious because it's people's souls on the line. Because what we and my man were talking about last night was, you know, how people use one standard for one group of people, but don't use it for another. You know what I'm saying? And it was mainly regards with the Lord being in the Old Testament. And not how we look at it. But they looking at him like he's literal characters versus we looking at it, this is a witness of him. That isn't necessarily, like we know that what happened with Jacob and Rebekah and Isaac was a witness of him. He wasn't literally Rebekah. What did Rebekah say to Jacob, Sid? Jacob said, if I go do this thing, this would be a curse on me. What did Rebekah say to him? Shalom, Brother Mike, man.
Oh, I don't remember the exact verse, but I know she's gonna take the blame for him.
He said, I bring a curse on me. She say, son, let that curse be on me. See, people who have an understanding of the witness, guess what they gonna know? The reproaches of them that reproach you fell on me. He became a curse for us, because cursed be he that hangeth from a tree. So in this instance, Rebecca is willing to take the reproach, the dishonor for her son. She's willing to take the sin. In that instance, she is playing the role of her Mashiach in that instance. She's willing to take the sin. She's willing to bear the reproach. Does that mean Yahusha is literally Rebecca? Absolutely not. That's asinine. But you have to have understanding to see what she just did. Then we can turn around and we can see that Jacob is playing the role of us. You know what I'm talking about? In regards to going to the Father, being Isaac. Shalom, Jordan. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So what did Jacob do? What did Jacob do before he went to Isaac? What did she instruct him to do? She told him, put on these goat hairs so that you can receive the blessing. And Isaac actually thought this. So he put on the firstborn. So you know what I take you to? Romans 13 and 14. Put you on Yahushua HaMashiach. Because if you don't have on the firstborn, guess what you can't get? You can't inherit the blessing. It say Isaac could not see to discern who it was. That means if the Father in heaven sees the firstborn son on you, he's not going to discern, oh, that's really Siddiq. That's really Omar. That's Yahushua. That's how he going to see it. And you're going to get the blessing. There's wisdom there. There's an understanding of what went down. This ain't just a man putting goat hairs on. Does that mean Jacob was really Yahusha there? No. But it's showing you the plan of salvation. Put on the firstborn to inherit the blessing. If you don't, you will lose it. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. The testimony of the Son of God is right there in your face. And each individual plays a role in that. You say that's what the reincarnation doctrine come from? My God, today. You understand? Now, some people be like, you stretching that. I don't stretch dope, my nigga. I don't put 14 in the 1,000. I don't put 14 in the 1,500. We drop the zone in the 4. Straight drop. You know what I'm talking about? No water whip. We don't stretch nothing around here. We don't sell no wob. We don't do none of that. You can buy it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? That's what I told him. I'm fully persuaded and convinced. So therefore, I just genuinely don't care if you believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? What does that mean to me? Now, what I mean by that is we can have a conversation. If you don't agree, you don't agree. Paul and went around, the apostles went around talking to all type of people. You think everybody believed them? You think everybody accepted them? No, they didn't. You think that made them mad? You think they spent more time trying to convince the people who rejected it versus the people who received it? This is how you know that these people don't work for this man for real. I am not finna spend an inordinate amount of time trying to convince people who don't believe what I'm saying versus the people who do. When you go back and you read John 8, it said that he began to talk to the Yahudim who believed on him. He ain't give a damn about the people who did. Okay, you don't believe it. What that mean to me? But look here, right? Would you rather spend an immense amount of time trying to convince 100 people to believe you who don't, or spend that same amount of time with 3 people who do? Where the most benefit gonna come from? Where the most value get laid at? Is it more valuable for you to take time to convince 100 people who already have been persuaded and convinced in their own mind that you stupid as hell? Or would you rather take that time to add value to 3 people who that's going to benefit their life in ways you couldn't imagine? And who knows how that information and what that does for their life could benefit who they come across? That's how you know these niggas don't go outside for real. I just seen you say that, Darius. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I see it. But I've always been like that. I'm not a debater. That's not my thing. Because I don't care enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't care enough of vanquishing an opponent with the word. I don't care enough. Okay, I beat you doctrinally. Now what? Who really won out of that? Who won? I get to run around and say, I beat that nigga up. Okay, whose soul got helped though? Because you know what I'm about to say, Sid. What Proverbs 11 and 31 say? 11:30 say. What did it say? He that wins souls is wise. He didn't say he that win a debate is wise. Yeah, I ain't on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? That's not no knock to nobody who do, because I know, hey man, sometimes you gotta let them guns go. You gotta let the sword swing. I understand. I ain't mad at you. I'm speaking for me. That's not my forte. Not with this here. I don't care enough. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I've been in one. I've been about 2-3. And I did not listen to my opponents a single solitary word of nothing that they said. When they went to talking, I went to go and to do something else. Shalom, Sister Regina. I was preaching the word to the audience. I ain't give a damn about beating them in no debate because it's subjective to the audience. I just want to put the word out there. You can say I lost. You can say I won. What that mean to me? My ego don't hang on the balance of that. I got more self-confidence than that. You know what I'm talking about? And here's the key thing. I don't need anybody's validation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a mentally weak individual. I've been called worse by better. You know what I'm talking about? And called worse by niggas who worse than me. So what that mean to me? And I'm telling you that because you need to be ready for that mentally. If you say, hey, I want to stand out in the midst of men and speak on the word of Yahuwah, people they gonna say things about you, sometimes to your face. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? But it is what it is. What I got you holding, Sylvia?
John 17.
Hold on, I ain't ready yet. Psalms 111 and 1, y'all. Hallelujah, I will praise Yahuwah with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright in the congregation. The works of Yahuwah are great, sought out all of them that have pleasure therein. His work honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endure forever. See, Paul. He said his work is what? Honorable. Now give me John 17 and 1 now. This is coming from what we read from Ecclesiastes 5 and 12. The work of a laboring man is sweet. Go ahead.
Say these words spake Yahushua and lifted up his eyes to Shamayim.
What he said?
Abba, the hour has come. Esteem your son, that your son also may esteem you.
That's right.
As you have given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life to as many as you have given.
And whatever.
And this is life eternal, that they might know you, the only true Elohim, and Yahushua HaMashiach, whom you have sent.
And what else?
I have esteemed you on the earth.
And
I have finished the work which you gave me to do.
And
now, O Abba, esteem you me with your own self, with the esteem which I had with you.
Notice he said he finished the work that he gave him to do. What was that work? Well, one of the works is what? He got to fulfill the book. The second work he had to accomplish is that he had to be impaled on that tree. You know what I'm talking about? The third work that he had to accomplish is that he had to be resurrected from the dead. And all these things are possible because he said, I know that you will not leave my soul in hell, nor suffer your Kadash one to see corruption. He had to believe that I have to do X, Y, Z, suffer and die, and I know he will raise me from the dead because that's what he told me, because if he wasn't going to do it, then why would he tell me that? You know what I'm talking about? So when you see that there, he can eat the bread of sorrows and he can give his beloved sleep. We just read when he ate that bread, he said, I'm exceedingly sorrowful even unto death. And he gave that man sleep because you know from Genesis 49, he saw rest was good. Then you know from Exodus 31, he said, and then he rested on the Shabbat and he refreshed himself. He took breath. You understand? All these things is pointing to what we've been pulling out from other books, for the example of the resurrection from the dead. If you recall, you know John 20 and 9 says that the apostles didn't know that it was written about no resurrection from the dead. They had no idea if Genesis to Malachi spoke on that matter. They didn't know that because it wasn't for them to know. Because Emma, I ain't gonna lie, she put that verse out there, it was in my brain. Proverbs 25 and 1. Check the flyers, right? Check this out. Come put this in the refrigerator. Check him out. Proverbs 25:1.
These also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Yehuda, copied out. The esteem of Elohim to conceal a thing.
It's the esteem of Elohim to do what?
Conceal a
He
thing.
said it's the glory of God for him to hide something.
But the honor of kings to search out the matter.
But it's the honor of a king for him to do a diligent inquisition on it. Whatever.
Shamahim for height and the earth for depth. And the heart of kings unsearchable.
The heart of king, he said the Shamahim for what?
For height.
And the what?
Earth for depth.
But the heart of a king is what?
Unsearchable.
Now we're going to come back to that. I want you to let that rest in your mind for a moment. You did? Now let me come back to Psalms 111. You know what I'm talking about? I'm in verse 3. So when you see his work is honorable and it's glorious. Matter of fact, hold on. Give me John chapter 12. Read me verse 23. And we're going to run that down. Listen to it. John chapter 12, verse 23.
Yahushua answered them, saying, the hour is come that the Son of Man should be esteemed.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, truly, I say unto you,
what?
Except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die,
it abide
alone.
But
if it dies,
it bring
forth much fruit.
See, a lot of people, they ain't bringing forth no fruit because that word ain't fell in their heart and they didn't die. I was telling my dog this last night, man, and I mean this, and I told him this here. I say, man, keeping this man commandments is easy. You can't turn around and say, the love of God is to keep his commandments are not burdensome, and then say it's hard. It's either easy or it's not. You know what I'm telling you? It can't be, if it's not burdensome, that means it ain't hard. Let me give you burdensome by definition. You stay where you're at. All right. Let's see what that means. Well, it says it's not grievous, excuse me. Grievous, burdensome, it's awesome. Because that's the definition of the word. Ba'usi, burdensome, severe, stern, heavy in weight, violent, cruel, unsparing. So this isn't something that's burdensome. If something is burdensome, let's see what burdensome by English definition. Let's see what we get. That is something that's difficult to carry out, to fulfill, or taxing, undesirably restrictive. Shalom, Sister Gwen. So if something is difficult, if it's not difficult to carry out, guess what that means it is, Civic? That means it's easy. That means it's easy. So when I say that keeping this man commandments is easy, the apostle backed me up. You know how I know this? Because he said, my burden is light. That's what he said. You know what I'm talking about? So what am I getting to? Keeping the commandments is not what's hard. It's the faith and that which you cannot see, which is the most difficult thing for the majority of people. And the reason being is something that we've talked about numerous times, because most people won't say, Lord, strengthen my faith. Most people are too ashamed to acknowledge I have little faith. My faith is weak. It doesn't make you weak for you to have the courage to say, Lord, strengthen my faith. Why would you look at yourself and convince yourself that make you weak and you're going to sit in the back of the class, quote unquote, and not say nothing? When you literally seen the Lord tell Peter, when you are converted, what he wanted to do, Civic? So that means there would be people that would be weak if he needed to strengthen his brethren. The reason why people feel that way is because you think people gonna ridicule you. Let me tell you something real, man. If you came and told somebody your faith was weak and you needed your faith to be strengthened and they ridiculed you, that's a sign that they not of God. Some stuff you got to get out your emotions and stop letting your emotions paint reality and actually look at things for what they are and make an assessment. If this person is clowning me because I got weak faith or talking about me because I got weak faith, that means they not of God. So that's not a reflective of anything about me. That's something that's going on with them. To say that you have a weakness in the area shows a large amount of courage, because you have the ability to have no concerns, care, or regard of what anyone would have to say about that, because it was more important for you to seek to improve than be concerned about the thoughts, cares, and concerns of other people. Most of the people can't get to where they want to be because you're too goddamn concerned about what another nigga got to say. Why do you even care? Like, why do you even care? Why are you so invested on what another nigga got to say? If you worry about what somebody got to say, you would need to reassess the relationship you got with them. If you knew that you could say something, man, and it would be something negative, pejorative, disrespectful, somebody talking about what you got going on, you would need to reassess, why are you even close with this person? You know what I'm talking about? Why? We too goddamn grown to be hanging with people and you think that's what they're going to do to you. Unless that's what you doing and you worry about they going to do what you be doing, then why are you doing it? Because you too grown for that. You too grown for that. Like, there has to come a point. You're going to stay a child or you're going to become a man. You know what I'm saying? You want to improve or you want to stay the same? Because when you want to improve, you don't care about the peanut gallery. You care about the improvement. That's the only thing that matters. You know what I'm saying? But when you moving on faith, that's difficult for a lot of people if they don't have no basis of faith to draw from. They won't be able to look at afflictions and tribulations and sufferings of this life and say, I refuse to let go of this promise. That's how I said that. Said, give me Romans 8:34. Make it 32. Romans 8:32.
Say, he that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things?
Listen to it.
Who shall lay anything to the charge of Elohim's elect? Elohim that justifies.
It's Elohim that what?
That justifies.
So why you worrying about the being justified by men if it's God who justifies? Go ahead.
Who is he that condemned? It is a Mashiach that died, yea, rather that is risen again.
So who can condemn you if a Mashiach done died and risen again? What you worry about all that for? Come on.
Who is even at the right hand of Elohim, who also make intercession for us.
Go ahead.
Who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach?
Who gonna separate you from the love of Hamashiach?
Tribulation or distress? Or
so tribulation or distress cause you to stop following this man?
Or persecution or famine?
So if you get persecuted and you hungry, you gonna stop believing?
Or nakedness or peril or sword? As it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter.
Sheep for the slaughter. Come on.
Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us.
You are more than what?
Conquerors through him that loved us. For I'm persuaded that neither death nor life.
He said he's what?
Persuaded.
He's what?
Persuaded.
Tell him what persuaded mean, man. That's what he wrote in Hebrews, that they were persuaded and embraced the promises. A lot of people ain't persuaded.
It's Python. Persuade, to induce one by words to believe.
To induce ones by word. So if you're persuaded, that means he induced you to believe based off the word that he spoke. And he ain't promised nobody no law. He didn't go to Abraham and say, I'm going to give you law, statutes, and commandments. He didn't go to them people and tell them people that. When they were in Egypt and they were groaning by reason of hard bondage, he didn't say, I'm going to deliver you by no law, statutes, and commandments. That's not what that man said. He said, I'm going to bring you out of here by my mighty and stretched out arm. We're like, what are we doing? This is crazy. And you know the first thing they told me, like, those niggas want to say, so you saying we ain't got to keep the law? If that's what you heard, that's because that's what you do. Because if that's what you derive from that conversation, you worry about destroying Christian doctrine too much. Because if you believe what somebody said, it's quite obvious that you're going to obey them. Now, of course, we gave the example that we always use. King Amaziah, he kept the commandments, but not with a perfect heart. And when the time came for his heart to be tried, because remember, he said the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who should know it? He said, Yahuwah try the heart and try the rein. This man put you in situations and circumstances for your heart to get shown. That's why we were starting with that Hebrew 4:12. On Wednesday, I almost forgot, we got to swing back to that. He said it's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. This man puts you in situations and circumstances and try you by the word and see if you love him or not. Let me tell you something, man. It's real easy to say you love God when there's no adversity. You know what I'm saying? Everybody love everybody when there's no adversity. And that's why and a part of the reason why I shared some of them reels of that therapist was for this very point that we get into, because unleavened bread coming, because nobody wants any manner of adversity, challenges, stress of any type, because you done let weak, tender dick, sweet round the anus pussy niggas tell you got to protect your mental health and you got to do this and do that, and niggas is mentally weak. You know what I'm saying? You have no mental fortitude. You have no mental strength. You have no spiritual strength, because you trying to run and hide from any type of adversity or stress of any type. When you see the Son of God, he ain't run from the stress. When he was in that stress, he sought to his God, and his God strengthened him. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that we've talked about multiple times over the years. That's a serious matter. You got to have mental and intestinal and testicular fortitude. And that's only created by being forged through the fire. You know what I'm saying? See, this is one thing that every man knows, especially when you talk about with young men. All young men have to have a struggle. They have to. Men who don't have any type of struggle. See, when we talk about struggle, people mind go to all type of things, man. You ain't got necessarily talking about you having a hard childhood and being poor. We talking about every man has to have a struggle in life that he overcomes so that he can see the mental fortitude that he possesses. A man who ain't never had no struggle is a man when adversity comes, he gonna fold. Absolutely, it's for a man's betterment. He gotta have it. He gotta have it. He got to have it. You meet a man who ain't never been in any manner of adversity, you don't know how he gonna respond to it when it comes. Because he don't know what it look like. He don't know what it feel like. He doesn't know what it's like to be in a stressful situation and to maintain his emotional stability, to cast down every feeling he got and see the situation for what it is and have the ability to endure it and problem solve to overcome it. And on top of that, considering that we the servants of God and have the reliability of his God to carry him through whatever it is that he has to face. That's why he say, I've tried you in the furnace of affliction. Every man got to have some manner of adversity at some point in his life. If he don't, he gonna be weak. He gonna be weak. And whoever follow him and whoever join to him, you subject to the weaknesses that he possesses. You follow a coward, you subject to his fears. You follow an angry man, you subject to his emotions. You follow an idiot, you subject to his stupidity. You know what I'm talking about? You follow a man who seek after pleasure, you subject to his lust. You follow an undisciplined man, you subject to his chaos. You know what I'm talking about? You follow what's this? Let me put this here, man. An unstructured man, you subject to his whims. You follow a selfish man, you subject to his selfish desires and inclinations. You know what I'm talking about? That's what you subject to. You follow a weak man, you subject to death. He said you can judge the true character and capabilities of a person of where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. Indeed. And you can judge the character and capabilities, shalom, of a person by where they stand in times of conflict and controversy. Yeah, you'll never know the true element of a man until you see how he handled adversity. And shoot, you won't know who you are until you see how you handle adversity. Because you haven't seen yourself yet. Until you face some manner of adversity, you have not seen yourself yet. You don't really know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And adversity comes in all shapes, forms, and fashions. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about trauma. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about adversity, difficulties. You know what I'm saying? And whatever that is. When you face difficulty, do you run? When you face difficulties, do you want to go play and do what make you feel good so you ain't got to think about it no more? You know what I'm saying? That's not the thought process of a man. Man got to look at them difficulties and look at them head on. They ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm talking about? Does that mean you have to obsess over them? No. You have to be able to make the determination, if there's something in front of me, what's in my control and what's not in my control. Because you know if it's not in your control, ain't even no sense in you stressing, focusing, talking, thinking, or worrying about it, because it's outside of your control. So guess what's the only thing you can focus on, Stevie? What you can control and your attitude in the midst of it. There are people who go through adversity and their attitudes never change. They never negative, they never rude, they never mean. Nobody would know they were dealing with that, and people thinking, that's the sign of mental strength, nigga. All that walking around crying and acting like I'm going through this, that don't mean you ain't supposed, you gotta be vulnerable or nothing. That's not how you come. You should be able to handle adversity with quiet strength. If it's too much for you, that's when you go talk to somebody. Niggas be acting like you dealing with all type of stuff and you gotta go cry and talk to every goddamn body. You don't even know how to handle it. You could be dealing with all type of stress. Do your people know that? Because when you come in the door, your family shouldn't have to deal with what you got going on. Why they got to suffer that? They didn't do it to you. You see, a lot of people can't. That's a sign of mental strength when you don't drop whatever you got going on people who ain't did nothing to you. The first adversity I can remember, shoot, nigga, I've been poor my whole life. You know what I'm talking about? So shoot, man. Man, I done been through so many difficult situations, man. I can't even count nor remember them whole, man. So when that junk pop up, man, that'd be like, shoot, I done been through so much stuff. Shoot, might as well just deal with this too. You know what I'm saying? Be honest with you. And I ain't just saying that just to say it, man. I done dealt with so much adversity, man, I can't even remember. You know what I'm saying? I can't even remember the first time, man. It's been so many of them. Some of them was induced by my own situations, and some of them wasn't. Some of them I ain't have no control, dealings, or nothing to do with. You know what I'm saying? Nigga just look like this here, boy. You got to overcome it. You got to ride it out. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you this here. You be better for it on the other side. But I also came from a family that stressed mental fortitude. You know what I'm saying? It's necessary, but yeah, I can't even remember, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I done been through so much stuff, man. It's too many situations to even harken back the one that I would say, okay, this was the first one. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely say that it was definitely as a adolescent. You know what I'm saying? Definitely as an adolescent. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just get what it is, man. And I don't mean that if you got some adversity, you might not slide off in the cut and go cry. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody don't need to see you as no grown man crying and weeping. Let somebody died. Because contrary to popular belief, if you are a leader of men and people see you in an adverse situation being emotional, it's going to cause them to question your ability to navigate them through that adversity. People don't have to agree with it. No, this ain't about if it's right or wrong. It's just about the natural psychology of human beings. And I ain't saying it's right or wrong for people to act like that, but they do. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're a person in authority, you have to know that. If you're in a person of leadership, you have to know that. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be strong and all the time. Hey, man, if you don't want to be like that, then don't be nobody's leader. Don't put yourself in a position where individuals are relying on you if that's not what you want. Because again, the Lord told his disciples he was exceedingly sorrowful under death. He wanted them to watch with him. They fell asleep. So he did the only thing a real man can do. He sought to his Father instead. And his Father gave him strength from heaven, which is going to clearly overcome any amount of strength that a man could give. But you gotta pay attention to that. That's the reality of it. Do not see, everybody think being the leader is about telling people what to do. A jackass can tell somebody what to do. A dummy can tell somebody what to do. But to be the captain of the ship, the navigator of all things, you have to be an example and you have to be willing to carry the burdens of everybody, whether you want to carry them or not. When things go right, you have to give the honor and esteem to others. When things go bad, it's your fault, whether it was your fault or not. You know what I'm talking about? It's gonna fall on you regardless, because your underlings ain't gonna take they're not gonna take the blame for when things go wrong. Everybody gonna look at you. Yeah, that's how that goes. You can't deal with that. You don't even need to even ask for that position. You know what I'm saying? We just were discussing this here. Most Israelite niggas only want to get married because they say the woman got to submit to her husband because you just want to tell somebody what to do because your mama bullied you. That's right. The king got to be a servant. A lot of these niggas really there, man. Your mama bullied you. You know what I'm saying? And you've been waiting all your life to tell a woman what to do because you really wish that was your mama so you could tell her what to do. You know what I'm talking about? That type of nigga want a wife so you could tell her what to do. Nigga, you pathetic. You know what I'm saying? Like that's sad, my nigga. You know why that's sad? Because you're supposed to already been the type of man that woman want to do what you asking her to do anyway. Because she fooled with you. Because it's a desire to see you win. Because it bring a pleasure to make you happy. You know what I'm talking about? If you got like, look, you woman gonna listen to me, I already know you're a buster. There's something wrong with you, man. I don't need no Bible to get no woman to do what I ask her to do. If you got to invoke God to get her to do what you want her to do, you got the wrong woman. You got the wrong woman. And I guarantee this, is there some disciplinary problems out here? Of course. But guess what that means, Sydney? You still got the wrong woman. Because a woman who fooled with you, man, you ain't got to do all that, blood. I promise you don't. I ain't even talking about if she in the word or not. If she fooled with your blood, you ain't got to do all of that. If you got to deal with a woman, man, and you got to argue with her for her to do something, well, you got to leave her alone. But you know what these damn fools do? God say you got to submit to your... Why would you go that far with somebody and marry them and be shocked that she never listened to you? Not Boy Scout. My God, today. That junk don't make sense. You have to expound on Boy Scout syndrome because I'm not familiar. That junk don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Nigga get in the word won't tell nigga what to do. Now you feel like you got the juice now, huh? You got the juice now, Q. Laying behind nigga, man. What's wrong with you, cuz? Like, that's sad, man. That's sad. That ain't never ran across my mind since I've been here. Oh, I got the word. All you can tell a person, yeah, you wives obey your husbands because that's a scriptural thing. But at the end of the day, baby, why would you even marry somebody you don't want to listen to? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about that. Why would you marry a man that you don't even want to listen to? Did you think about that before you did that? Because if you got in your brain, man, I ain't finna listen to this stupid behind nigga. Oh, leave that nigga alone, baby. Leave him alone. If you questioning if you would listen to him, leave him. And I ain't talking about listening to him like he's giving you orders and you got to follow. Like if you don't regard his intelligence, if you don't regard his wisdom, if you don't regard his understanding, if you don't regard his leadership, if you don't regard any level of mental skill or ability that he got going on, if you believe he's incompetent, why would you marry him? Why? So you can complain to all your friends about how stupid your husband is? One of your friends would need to tell you, well, what that say about you? Because if you knew he was stupid and you married him anyway, that means you twice as stupid. Because he may not know he's stupid, but you knew he was stupid. And you married him anyway? So you can tell me how stupid he is? No, I'm going to tell you how stupid you are. See, that's what your friends need to do. When you come out, my husband's so damn dumb. Well, what did that say about you? How long you knew he was dumb? Did you just find this out? That boy say stupid is a stupid dog. My God, today. Come on, Sid. I'm like, what song? Where I got you?
Romans 8:38.
We finished that. Oh, you didn't finish 38. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It said, for I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor Elohim, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Elohim, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua our Lord. Amen.
Barry just said, he said, my mama said that when I was venting about my ex. She said, you must be the dumb. But sometimes you need somebody to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing if you talking about a situation, you just frustrated. But when you steady talking about them and like, they so dumb, they this, that, and the third, you need somebody to tell you stupid. Well, why I got to be stupid? Because I need to know how long you knew they were dumb. I need to know how long you knew that versus how long you've been married. Because if you got married quick, you might have not figured that out quick. I ain't gonna say that to you. But if you was with him for 3 years and then you've been married for 4, you knew they were stupid before you married. So you'd have done it. That's some personal responsibility for you behind right there, Anderson. My God, today. Psalms 111:3. And you don't say that to be disrespectful. You say that because sometimes you got to hear that because, well, you made that decision. And you had enough requisite information to make an informed decision, and you chose to do what you did, and you got to deal with what come along with that. Psalms 111:3. His work is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endure forever. He has made his wonderful works to be remembered. How he made his wonderful works to be remembered, Sid? Can you tell me how he did that? Yahuwah is gracious and full of compassion. But how did he make his wonderful works? Let me see, check and see if Kala is the word used for wonderful there, which would be a wonderful work by a distinguishing action.
It is.
So what is this wonderful work by distinguishing action that he is called to be Zakar, to be remembered? Can you tell me? How does he make how does he make his wonderful works be remembered? Can anybody tell me according to the word? This could be from Genesis to Revelation. How does he make his wonderful works be remembered? Because he said his work is honorable and is glorious. Now we read, he said, I finished the work which you gave me to do. We mentioned what those works were. He said he has made his wonderful works to be remembered. Give him the word for remember just to make sure that I'm not incorrect. Look at you.
That's a curve, a memorial, a remembrance.
Huh? You O.J. Simpson in it today? So how did he do that? How did he accomplish that work? Going once? Going twice? Jeremiah 31:31. Let's start there. After Jeremiah 31:31, John 14:26, John 15:26, John 16:13. Come on with it, man. Jeremiah 31:31.
Say, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I'll make a new covenant with the house of Yasharal and with the house of Yehuda, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day I took them by hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. Also I was a husband unto them, saith Yahuwah. But this, the covenant that I'll make with the house of Yasharal after those days, saith Yahuwah.
Mother Sharona said feast. Amos 8:7. Go ahead, I'm listening.
After those days, saith Yahuwah, I'll put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts.
He put his what?
Law in their inward parts.
And write it where?
In their hearts.
Now they said they have sworn by, I will never forget any. That was different because he's saying he won't forget their works because of the wickedness they were doing, and he was going to come visit them in Amos 8:7. And Amos, he talking about, I'm coming to see y'all. Go ahead. That's good. Actually, that got the. He said he's going to take his word and put it where?
The inward parts.
Now give me John 14:26. Come on with it.
He said, but the Comforter, the Ruach HaKodesh from the Abba will send in my name.
What he gonna do?
He shall teach you all things.
He gonna do what?
Teach you all
and
things.
Bring
all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you.
Well, what did he say unto them?
Shalom, I leave with you.
No, that's good. What did he say unto them? John 15:26. When he resurrected from the dead, what did he say unto them? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets and in the Psalms, he expounded unto them the things concerning himself. So when you look at bringing the one, it's the Ruach HaKodesh, which is going to bring the wonderful works that he's done to your remembrance, because now the word is in you and you in the word, perfect in one. You did? That's how he gonna do that. All because he didn't rise up early to sit up late, and he gave him the bread of sorrows and gave his beloved sleep, and that the laboring, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. You understand? Come on with it, blood.
But when the comforters come, whom I will send unto you from the Abba,
what are you gonna do?
The rock of truth, which proceed from the Abba, he shall testify of me.
He gonna do what?
Testify of me.
And what else he gonna do?
You also shall bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning.
Get them John 14 and 15 on general principle before we read John 16 and 13. Remember, when the word is in you and you in the word will minister unto you. Because we were talking about today, somebody say God talked to them. I'm not here to tell you who God talked to and who ain't. I don't deal with the type of stuff. Now, I may not say it out loud, but you would be able to know or ascertain based off whatever individual said in the work that they accomplished, if that came from God or not. Am I in the business of telling people they didn't work a miracle or the Spirit did not minister unto them? That is not my job. That is not my place. I don't do none of that. In due time, it'll show if that person is telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? All that you feel like you have to try to disprove somebody who said they had a yada or experience with Yahuwah, I ain't on that type of time. But guess what? If Yahuwah did appear to this individual, speak to this individual, work through this individual, you done put your mouth on somebody and you ain't had no business saying nothing against it. Peace, Brother Joseph, man. And you can't be doing that because you could put your soul at risk. Because you could be around, mess around, say something was of the devil, and it was done by the Spirit. Now you done blaspheme the Ruach HaKodesh, man. So some stuff, man, it's cool to just keep your mouth closed. If you believe it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. You ain't got to always speak on everything, man. Because you might speak on the wrong person, man. You might speak against the wrong thing, man, and get yourself in trouble. Straight like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just best to be quiet. Because if it's not of God, it's going to show in due time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that simple. It's going to show in due time. You ain't got to do all that. The civic say, man, God spoke to me. I'm going to tell him he lying. I wasn't there. How I know if God spoke to him or not? Now, if he say God spoke to me and told me go shoot 3 niggas, well, I know that's not the Spirit of God told you that. That was a God, but it wasn't the God of heaven and earth. You know what I'm saying? That's how you assess certain things where you know, I don't know if that was God told you that, brother. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just feel like we got to cut up. No, nigga, you lying. How you know he lying? What if he ain't lying? Well, you just spoke against Yahuwah, man. Like, you have to really look at that. It's not always required for you to offer your opinion. You know, it's okay to say nothing. You know, Proverbs tell you that. At some point, you have to learn some wisdom and know it's okay for you to say nothing. It's okay. You know, that's a very unmasculine thing for you to feel the need to speak and comment on everything. That's not what men's supposed to be doing. Men know when to be quiet and just be quiet. Man, look at man. I told you this other day. Well, I didn't tell you this other day. I think I told all y'all this other day. A few weeks back, I should say. At the end of Who's the MFer? Man, Juvie told you, man. Game can be overcome if you silence your tongue. But a lot of stuff you can't overcome because you talk too goddamn much. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can overcome stuff if you just be quiet. Because a nigga will play themselves. They'll play themselves. They'll expose themselves. Sometimes you just got to be quiet. Yes, I was just telling that to a coworker yesterday. Everything don't need to be said. You know what I'm saying? Internet make people feel like I got an opinion and I got to share it. Okay, that's your business then. That's how you get caught up. That's how you give people an opportunity to adjust the tomfoolery that they own because you opened your mouth. Yeah, definitely, because everything don't need to be expressed. You express what needs to be expressed. But that's because we live in a society now that everybody feel like everybody got to say everything. Express your feelings. Your feelings will lie to you. Your feelings are not your reality. Why you think the man told you the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked? We just talked about how the heart and the soul is the seat of emotions and appetites. Now, if God telling you your feelings gonna lie to you, you ain't gonna listen to him. He told you your feelings will lie to you. He said it's deceitfully, desperately wicked, and deceitful above everything. This is what your God told you your feelings will do to you. But you ain't gonna listen to him about it. I know you ain't gonna listen to me. Because I learned a long time ago, man, listening to your feelings is the worst thing you could ever do. You know what I'm saying? The mentally strong thing to do is to be able to assess your feelings, take inventory of your feelings, and not allow your feelings to dictate how you speak, how you act, how you interact, how you behave, and how you respond to life. That sounds too much like being grown right there, don't it? My God, today. John 16 and 13. Let me get a beverage.
You want me to read the 14 and 15?
Yeah, I'm sorry. John 14 and 15.
Say, if you love me, keep my commandments, and I'll pray the Abba, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. The Ruach of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it see him not, neither know him.
The Ruach of truth that the world can't receive because it what?
See him not.
And it what?
Know him. But you know him, for he dwell with you, and shall be in you.
Go ahead.
I will not leave you comfortless.
I won't leave you, baby.
I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world see me no more, but you shall see me, because I live, you shall live also.
That's good. John 16 and 13. Joanne, you behaving?
She's Joanne, okay?
Don Joanne. Go ahead. Excuse me.
Say, howbeit, when he, the Ruach of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, whatsoever he shall hear, shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. He shall esteem me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show unto you.
Do you not understand that? And we read all that, how he has made his wonderful works to be remembered. Yahuwah is gracious and full of compassion, that the Ruach HaKodesh is showing you how gracious and compassionate he is. So the simple fact he called it the comforter, and it's bringing comfort to you. Come back to Psalms 111 and 4, right? Give him grace, gracious, and compassion by strict definition. See, the Ruach HaKodesh is what brings all things to remembrance.
Gracious is kanun, that's gracious. And compassion is raccoon, compassionate. Full of compassion, merciful.
Merciful. See, the Ruach HaKodesh, the receiving of it is evidence of the mercy of God. The law don't have that. It was never intended to have it. Now listen to what he says in verse 5 of Psalms 111. He hath given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenant. My God, today. What did we read on Wednesday in John 6? He said, my flesh is what, Sivit? Meat indeed. And this is the meat that I will give, which is my flesh for the life of the world. And then you see him eating the bread of sorrows when he said, take, eat, this is my what? My body. And when you eat that, he will be what? Ever mindful of his covenant, because you've joined yourself in death so that you might live with his son in righteousness. Very simple. This is a very simple concept. It's not difficult to understand. When you look at verse 6 of Psalms 111, he has showed his people the power of his works, that he may give them the inheritance, because that's what heritage means, of the heathen. When that man resurrected from the dead, and he showed him openly, read 1 Corinthians 15 and 1, so you can talk about how this man was shown openly, that he showed his people the power of his works. Let's talk about it.
Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also you have received, and wherein you stand, by which also you are saved, if you keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless you have believed in vain.
Unless you believe for nothing.
For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Amashiach died for our sins.
He did what?
Died for our sins.
And what else?
According to the scripture.
You know, when people, I hear talk to Christians and they read that verse, they think that epistle letter mean this the scripture. Somebody ought to slap them upside the head with a stone tablet. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. 1 Corinthians 15 ain't no scripture, sir. That's an epistle. You know how we know? And when he said that he resurrected from the dead, he died for our sins according to the what? To
the scripture.
Now go read Acts 28 and 23, just so you can see how Paul showed that. Since Paul said it, let's show how Paul showed it, because he ain't show it from no letter. You can't prove this man died for your sins from no epistle letter. Now, let me take that back. If you were skilled enough, you can show the beginning from the end, meaning you should be able to show The entire Old Testament from Matthew to Revelation. And if you're skilled enough, you should be able to show the entire New Testament from Genesis to Malachi. If you can't do that, then you wouldn't be a scribe which is instructed into the kingdom of heaven, because the Lord said he is like unto a householder, which bring forth out of his vessel things new and old. That's what the Lord said. So that means that's what you should be able to do. Not because I want you to do it, not because I said you should do it, because that's what the Lord said. What you think that mean when he say you bring up out of your treasure things new and old? And he told you the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end. So that means the end is in Genesis to Malachi and the beginning is in Matthew to Revelation. And guess what they do? Guess like what it said, I want to say what that is. Psalms 85, that might be, I could be wrong. When he say mercy and truth meet and kiss. You know what I'm talking about? Both ends of the book supposed to meet each other and kiss. You understand? Let me get that verse before it trouble my mind that I said it wrong. Especially for a wicked nigga in the back. Because there's always a wicked nigga in the back of the class. That ain't what it said. He lied. See? You ain't got to listen to him. Just like nobody listen to your mama. I should have said that. I apologize. Psalms 85 and 10 said it. But go ahead and just give me verse 4, because I feel like that's more appropriate. Psalms 85 and 4.
Turn us, O Elohim of our salvation, and cause your anger toward us to cease.
Now, how do you think he caused his anger to cease? Because all that wrath, he took it out on. Didn't we just read in Romans 8? He said that he spared not his own son. All that wrath he had, he took it out on his son. Continue.
Will you be angry with us forever? Will you draw out your anger to all generations? Will you not revive us again?
What you think he mean when he say he won't revive us again? That's give you life.
That your people may rejoice in you.
Show us your what?
Your mercy, O Yahuwah.
And grant us your what?
Salvation.
I will hear what Elohim.
Yahuwah will speak.
For he will speak what?
Shalom unto his people.
And to his
saints.
But let them not turn again. Surely his salvation.
Near them that fear him, that esteem may dwell in our land.
What have met mercy and what?
And truth are met together.
And righteousness and peace.
Kiss.
Mercy and truth have done what? Met together. And what it said, right? The law came by Moses, but what? Grace and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach. And guess what? When he declared his name, guess what he said? He said he was grace and truth. Then he said righteousness and peace have kissed. Well, how did mercy and truth meet? How did righteousness and peace kiss? Because when that man resurrected from the dead, mercy and truth were able to come together. The righteousness which is of faith and the peace of God was able to kiss one another. The law can't do that for you. This is all the things that are contained in the Ruach HaKodesh are for those who believe. This is what this man work produced. You understand what I'm telling you? Now come back to 1 Corinthians 15 and 1.
Oh, hold on. Acts 28.
Oh, yeah. Acts 28 and 23.
And when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him in his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of Elohim, persuading them concerning Yahushua, both out of the law of Moses
and
the prophets, from morning till evening.
What happened?
And some believed the things that were spoken, and some believed not.
Some believed the things that were spoken,
and some believed not.
And some believed not. And he talking about this man resurrecting from the dead and dying for your sins. You think he was talking about that from from a letter he writing to the Corinthians? Go back to 1 Corinthians 15. What verse was that? 3. Read what scripture say, man, by definition. Joanne, I can see you.
That's graphic, a writing, a thing written. The scripture used to denote either the book itself or its contents.
The
scripture. Certain portion or section of the Kadash scripture.
1 Corinthians ain't the Kadash scriptures. Because that's not what Paul had to draw from. Not when he was writing them people to say that to them. You have to use common sense. He can't tell them they're getting that from the letter he writing to them. They would automatically know, okay, he talking about woo, woo, woo. This man taught these people. Go ahead. What that verse in? 1 Corinthians 15.
Verse 4.
Go ahead.
And that he was buried and that he rose again the third day according to the scriptures.
He was buried and rose again when?
The third day.
According to the who?
Scriptures.
That's not Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? It didn't exist. Let's do another one because I feel like it. Acts 18 and 24. That's not to what's the word I'm looking for? That's not to diminish Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You have to look at what he was doing at the time when he wrote that and how he was doing it. Go ahead.
And a certain Yahudi named Apollos, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man, mighty in the scriptures.
Mighty in the what?
In the scriptures.
In the who?
In the scriptures.
So that means, according to what we read in Acts 18, 28 and 23, that means he was mighty and eloquent in Moses and all the prophets. Because we know Luke 24, shalom, Brother Mark. We know Luke 24 and 44 said, and these are the things that are written in the law of Moses and in the Psalms and in the prophets concerning me. Excuse me. Go ahead.
And mighty in the scriptures came to Ephesians. This man was instructed in the way of the Lord.
Only knowing.
And being fervent in the spirit, he spake and taught diligently the things of the Lord, knowing only the baptism of John.
Now listen to this. This man only knew the baptism of John. So that means there's no letters and gospels he pulling this from. All he knew was up to John. What did Apollos do?
And he began to speak boldly in the synagogue, whom Aquila and Priscilla had heard. He took him unto him and expounded unto him the way of Elohim more perfect.
What happened?
And when he was disposed to pass into Achaia, the brethren wrote, exhorting the disciples to receive him, whom when he was come helped them much which had believed through grace. For he mightily convinced the Yahudim and publicly showing by the scriptures.
He publicly showed them by the what?
By the scriptures.
He publicly showed them by the what?
The scriptures.
By the epistle letter.
By the scriptures.
Okay.
That Yahushua was a Mashiach.
So that means he showed them that from Genesis to Malachi. What else could he have showed them that from? Come on back the way you are. You're jump back on. He be wearing this. So used up this jump. Next. Yeah, you did. I ain't used all this. It's your fault. I don't need no back talk. Need no back talk. Don't sass me. Go ahead.
We still in 1 Corinthians, or we go with that?
1 Corinthians 15 and 4.
And that he was buried, and that he rose the third day according to the scriptures, and that he was seen of Cephas, then of the 12. After that, he was seen of above 500 brethren at once, of whom the greater part remain unto this present, but some are fallen asleep. After that, he was seen of James, then all the apostles, and last of all, he was seen of me also.
You see how he showed his people the power of his works?
As of one born out of due time.
That's good. He showed the people the power of his works by reason of showing him that this man resurrected from the dead. What greater power of work is that? Think about that for a moment. Let that rest in your mind. What's more powerful than that? What work has this man done that's more powerful than that? Didn't he say, I will redeem you from the power of the grave? I give you a kinsman redeemer to redeem you from the grave. And he showed him to his people. They saw him. Psalms 111 and 7. The works of his hands are verity and judgment, his commandments sure. They stand fast forever and ever and are done in truth and uprightness. He hath sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever. Kadash and reverend is his name. Go ahead and tell him what redemption is, man. That was your favorite song by Bob Marley?
Redemption song.
Look at him. He know that song, though. Go ahead.
That's Purdue, ransom.
A ransom. He sung a ransom. Now, what we talked about the other day in Matthew 20, he said, I didn't come to be served, but to serve and to give my life for what? A ransom for many. And a man's life, the ransom of a man's life is his riches. So when you look at redemption, he sent somebody to pay a price. You see that this man is contained in places that you're not looking. He say he sent somebody to pay a price. You see the Ruach, you see the work that he did in verse 3. You see the Ruach HaKadosh and the power of it in verse 4. You see how he gave his flesh to eat so that you should be mindful of his covenant to fulfill Jeremiah 31 in verse 5. Then you turn around in verse 6, you see his resurrection from the dead because he showed him openly to everybody. And then get down to verse 9. He's showing you how somebody coming to pay the price. And that's why his name is set apart and fearful at this moment. But that's what reverend means. And that's what people get reverend from. Reverend ain't no title. You got niggas who got job titles in the word and they ain't even there. What's a reverend? We were talking to a dude the other day, man. They were talking about 1 Peter chapter 3, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because for whatever reason, what we were discussing was this. And I know it's a very uncomfortable conversation because people look at things from a Western standpoint. What we were discussing is adultery. Now, if you are a married man and you have sex with an unmarried woman, you have not committed adultery, but you definitely have dealt treacherously with the wife of your youth. You have definitely participated in a lascivious act, and you definitely could be a whoremonger. Because if you made a covenant with a woman and it was just going to be you and that woman and you had sex with another woman, see, some dudes would be like, man, well, it's lawful for me to have more than one wife. And that very well may be true from your point of view. But boy, you entered into a covenant with that woman, boy, and some of you niggas took vows. See, some people be like, well, that was Christian vows. They don't count. But that man ain't never told you there was a specification on a vow. A vow is a vow. A vow is a vow, nigga. You gave your word to God. You made a promise to God, boy. He told you if you vow, Sylvia, what you got to do? You better pay it. Solomon told you it's better for you to not vow than to vow and not pay. So if you made a vow before God and you told that woman it was going to be you and her, you may have not committed adultery in the strictest sense, but you are God, you are treacherous, deceitful, no good, dirty-faced bastard, and you ought to go to hell. Straight like that. Because the word for adultery in Exodus 20 is na'af. And it literally says adultery, always with another man's wife. You know what I'm talking about? Now then the conversation shifted to the Matthew. When he said, if you look upon a woman with lust in your heart, you have committed adultery. And people take that to mean if you look on a woman, you've committed adultery. If that woman ain't got no husband, cuz how is you committing adultery? But let me tell you what that word in Greek means for lust in that particular passage. And the individual we were having this conversation with, he didn't want to accept that this is what it means. And I'll read you that adultery definition also. Because you know what Proverbs 6 say what happened to you if you sleep with another man's wife. He said you lack understanding. And if you lack understanding, that means you worthy of death. And he said no matter what you say or no matter what gifts you offer, that man gonna kill you by his wife. So when you hear dudes say, oh, that nigga went out laying by his wife, he killed by that woman, God already told you a man would do that by his wife. So guess what that means to you? Stop messing with niggas' wives. If something wrong with you, you gonna die. Now again, if you's a nigga who say you married to this woman and you around here having sex with women and you lying to that woman, bro, you wicked as hell. Because you know what you should have did? You can't get in the word and find out, oh, I can have multiple wives. Now you got to keep your words you promised before God. I don't want to hear all that. And if you listen to them damn fools convince you to go back on your word and be a covenant breaker, just know y'all gonna be lying dancing in hell together. You can't even make a new covenant because you.
No, I'm talking about taking on another wife. You can't just be out here slanging me.
No,
this is my new wife.
That's what they be doing. But my point is not even that. If you've already made a vow and covenanted with somebody that's what it is, then bro, that's what it is, cuz. You can't come back to it and try to, oh, I want to amend it, because the only way you can amend the covenant is if somebody broke it. If ain't nobody broke it, ain't nothing to amend.
If either of the parties die, that's the only way you're going to be free from that.
You nigga wicked as hell. Now, when it say when you look on a woman to lust after her in your heart, that Greek word for lust after is epithemiho. It is to lust after or to covet of those or to seek things that are forbidden. Now, you already know from Exodus chapter 20, he said, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. So you know what that take you back to? When David out there, he knew Bathsheba was Uriah the Hittite's wife. He lusted after her in his heart. He coveted his neighbor's wife, and he laid with her, and then he killed his neighbor for her. Now, see, Shalom, East Man, the conversation we were having, of course, in this society, you don't know who's married and who's not married. But in that society, at that time, they knew who was married and who wasn't married because they knew the people who they lived around. So they would know who was such and such's wife. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be no mystery like most of y'all. Y'all don't know the people you live around. You go into the grocery store, you don't know this person and that person. Yeah, you ain't supposed to be doing that, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what people got stuck on. They were thinking, oh, I'm advocating, well, you know, for no. But if you were in a covenant with that woman, man, and you made a vow to God about that man, well, you can't go back on that, cuz. But Yahuwah says that he does not like covenant breakers. Now, if you covenant with that woman to say, hey, I might get me 3, 4, 5 down the line, and she agreed to that, she can't complain about that later because you covenanted with that. You did that in full knowledge, awareness, and agreement. Shalom, Brother Ernest. But most of these niggas not doing that. Now, do you have to take vows to get married? No. Because that's not a biblical thing. We looked at, I can't recall off the top of my head. The vows things is not scriptural because Israelites didn't just vow. They just didn't just do that. You know, that's a European thing. They the ones came up with all that. Because remember, this book tell you, man, a vow is a votive offering. That means that's something you volunteered. You volunteered that. You know what I'm saying? See, it took me a while to gain that same month. But praise you. Because it's real. See, it's not. See, when people hear that, it's not adultery if you're married and you have sex with an unmarried woman. That doesn't mean that you're saying the behavior is right. That just means you can't classify it as that. It does not mean the behavior is right. Because if you're having sex with a woman, if you got a side chick, that means you never had intending on marrying her anyway. So that means you all out of pocket. There's a multitude of sins you committing. But the biggest sin that you committing is, the man said there's no guile in his spirit. And he said, don't deal treacherously with the wife of your youth. And that word means to lie and be deceitful. Because if you cheating on your wife, guess what you would have to be doing? Lying. You would have to be lying. And understandably so, you know what I'm saying, looking at it from a human standpoint, the woman is going to be more focused on the fact that you're having sex with this woman versus God looking at the fact that you lying. You know what I'm talking about? In my name, you lying. That's a problem. Say most dudes are looking for a Sarah. But see, the difference with that is that means that your wife would have to take a handmaid, which means this woman would literally have to be volunteering to come into your home to be a servant to your wife in a lesser position. And then for whatever reason, if your wife say, you can lay with my handmaiden, willing to know that this man can use your body for pleasure, but you will never be a wife in his house. And that you're always going to be a lesser woman in his home, and you will always and forever serve his wife, because that is why you were here in the first place. You know what I'm talking about? If you're talking about what a handmaiden is, it ain't like that show you was watching with the handmaiden tale.
For babies.
Yeah, but that wasn't the original. Because every woman who had a handmaid, her husband didn't necessarily lay with them.
Yeah, I know that.
You know what I'm saying? Now on that TV show, them doors was running through them handmaids, but culturally, everybody didn't sleep with them. Yeah, and they were running through them. He said that show was crazy. It was. Them handmaidens revolted. I'm tired of you doing it to me, funny tooth white man. Yeah. But yeah, that's how that goes. And I can tell you right now, in 2025 in the United States of America, man, ain't no woman agreeing to be no handmaid. Ain't no woman agreeing to that. Because she's not gonna want to put herself in a position to serve another woman and know that she gonna be a servant in that house. No, look at, they don't even want to be the wife. So you know they ain't gonna want to be no handmaid. I ain't talking about they don't want to be married. I say they don't want to be a wife. Because we didn't have that conversation before. There's a lot of women who married. That because you married don't mean you're a wife. You're just a woman who's married. You know what I'm saying? Wife is something you do. But the reality of the situation is, ain't too many. I don't know any woman on this planet that'll volunteer to be no handmaid. Because she gonna want to have that man's attention, and you'll never ascend above his wife. That's never gonna happen. You're never gonna have the rights that his wife has. That's the only way that you could justify that. You know what I'm saying? Is this woman is a handmaid, and then you lie with your handmaid. But guess what? Most niggas ain't got enough bread to be talking about having no handmaid. And again, if you did have enough bread, especially an attractive woman ain't volunteering to be no handmaid. She's not volunteering to do that. So a Sarah Hagar situation is a situation that ain't nobody never got to worry about being in. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up down. A lot of women are volunteer to be a concubine, but they only gonna volunteer that in the side chick area. You know what I'm saying? Because even with the concubines, they stay lesser to his wife. Yeah, the United States of America, ain't no woman gonna say we willingly want to be. She gonna want to be equal or greater than your wife. It just is what it is. That's the society we live in. You ain't gotta like it, agree with it, or nothing. You know what I'm talking about? But we're not gonna act like that's not reality. Always remember this: when I mention certain things, man, it's not necessarily that's my personal opinion or that I agree with it or nothing. This is reality. Ladies, out of all the women you know, how many of them you think gonna be willing to be somebody's handmaid? Remember, the handmaiden is not there for the man. The handmaiden is there to serve the wife. That's what she's there for. Her whole duty in life is to serve your wife. My God, today. They don't know about that sentence. Let's see what handmaid means by definition. He said, you ain't lying. A lady that's married trying to convince me to get a job and my husband shouldn't be ruling over me. She was like, I've been married for 15 years. I can't be submissive. My God, today. Yeah, you got a lot of men. Ain't no woman finna do that. Ain't no woman finna agree to be nobody's handmaid. Because she got to serve the woman. You look at handmaid, it's shifka, a maid servant, a slave girl, a maid servant as belonging to a mistress, a female slave, as a member of a household, a maiden, a wench, a bondwoman, a woman servant. What is a wench? I know some of you may have heard of a bed wench. That's a very disrespectful term for most people. But a wench is a girl or a young woman, also a prostitute. It's a common word for a girl, a child, or a servant. So when you look at it in slang, it means a sexually loose and immoral woman. A bed wench, by definition, if you haven't heard that before, is a promiscuous woman. It's not really a low status concubine, often a slave or a captive. So if you got a handmaid, she a slave. You know what I'm talking about? This is somebody, ain't no woman agreeing to that, man. They say Hagar and Sarah had little issues, and this was during in the ancient world. So imagine in this current Western time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Ain't no woman agreeing to that, bro. Because we hear these terms and then we don't really realize what they mean and what they represent and how that's supposed to function. You know what I'm saying? Because she's going to be a slave to your wife. Her job is to serve your. Remember, you didn't see Abraham having any interactions with Hagar. Hagar had all her interactions with Sarah. And Sarah's exact words was, cast this bondwoman out of my house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, ain't no woman in 2025 agreeing to that. Because she feel like she should be the wife. I'm not finna be your slave. I'm not finna serve your wife. I'm not finna make the pancakes and clean the house. You know what I'm saying? That's what she gonna be doing. And then if the wife say, go service my husband, she gotta go do that. You know, like we don't live like that, man. Them days gone, man. You know what I'm talking about? Them people lived like that a long time ago. Psalm 111:9. He sent redemption unto his people. He have commanded his covenant forever. Kadash and reverend is his name. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do. His praise endure forever. Now, see, do ain't there. I mean, commandments ain't there, excuse me. But do is asa. That's the work or produce. So let's look at John 6:26. We read it Wednesday. Let's read it again. Yeah, man. You ain't got. That's one thing you gentlemen ain't got to worry about it having no handmaid. You know what I'm saying? Now, a concubine is not necessarily there to serve your wife, but again, she would be a lower status woman in your household. Like I said, man, we live in a time where women don't even want to be your wife. So you think she's gonna volunteer to be in your house and be a concubine or a maid or a handmaid? Hell no. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. And it ain't gonna happen for no other reason because they believe that they don't have to. It don't matter what you think. You have to be a certain type of dude for a woman to go along with that, and most niggas are not. And when I say them, I'm talking about men, period, no matter the race. They're not. Even men who have a whole lot of money don't necessarily have women who are willing to do all of that. Because it's not necessarily the money, it's the character and personality of the man. You know what I'm saying? Most dudes think they that dude, but boy, most dudes ain't that dude to manage women in that capacity, and they function in them roles and they good with it. Like, ain't gonna be no problems. Like, yeah, that's what it is. Nah, man, that's not gonna happen. Because if you have to twist, cajole, manipulate, you know what I'm saying, all that in the third, I mean, that woman don't want to do that. It's gonna be a matter of time for that blow up in your face. But that's what they be telling these dudes, and that's why you hear all these Israelites saying they got all these problems with these women because you trying to put women in situations and circumstances that they never wanted to be in. And you thought it was gonna work out well. And then it didn't. And here we are. Go ahead.
Yahushua answered them and said, truly, truly, I say unto you, you seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Mm-hmm. Labor not for the meat which perish, but for that meat which endure unto everlasting life.
The everlasting life.
The Son of Man shall give unto you. For him have Elohim the Abba sealed.
Go ahead. You say a lot of dudes are heavy-handed with, yeah, man, I ain't doing all that. Can't be out here gorilla pimping, man. You know what I'm saying? You in the word gorilla pimping, that's a bad look, blood. That's a bad look. Go ahead, man.
Then said they unto him, what shall we do that we might work the works of Elohim? Yahushua answered and said unto them,
believe on him.
This is the work of Elohim, that you believe on him whom he hath sent.
Now give me John 8:39. Yeah, dude be out here gorilla pimping, man. Man, the Lord ain't never have to gorilla pimp nobody. They seen him and they got down. You know what I'm saying? He ain't have to fight, push, and convince nobody to do nothing. Man, when that woman see you, man, she see what type of time you on, and you let her know what it is and what it ain't, she either gonna get down with that or she not. If you have to convince a woman to get down with what you got going on, she don't like you like that. She don't like you like that. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Yeah, and I've been told you that, man. Yahuwah don't chase, he attracts individuals. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he said, when the Son of Man be lifted up, he'll draw all men unto him. That man don't do that. We ain't even finished John 12, but we'll go back around. Yeah, that man don't do all that. And as a grown man, you shouldn't be doing all that. You know what I'm saying? You let her, you got your program, you show your competence in your program, you let her know what type of time you own and what you require, and she either gonna roll with that or she ain't. You know what I'm saying? Once you spend an inordinate amount of time trying to convince somebody to do something, they don't want to do it. Psalms 18 say, as soon as they heard of me, they submitted unto me. Now, I'm not saying no woman gonna submit unto you the minute she see you, but truth be told, if she fool with you, she gonna yield to you anyway. She gonna yield to you anyway. You ain't gotta do all that. Man, I ain't never did that, man. I'm not doing all that. You know what I'm saying? It's not even worth it. It's not even for what? What are you getting out of that? You're getting somebody who don't want to get down with what you got going on. That's what you're getting. And you know what that lead to? Whole problems. That's what that lead to. And I'm not talking about because the woman, the hoe, is for she's spreading her body around. I'm talking about the rebellious nature of a whore. That's what you're going to deal with. The mind of a whore is the most devastating thing you could ever encounter because whores won't submit to nothing. Whores are rebellious. Whores are selfish, and whores are destructive, and she will drain you mentally and emotionally. And the book of Proverbs already told you that. That's where we deriving this from. He told you a whore is a deep pitch. This ain't no stuff talking about being a whore ain't got nothing to do with, she has sex with 100 men. Because you can meet some women who loose with the loins, and they sweet, and they kind, and they listen, and every doggone thing. She just active with the loins. And you could meet a woman who will only have sex with you and be the most rotten, whorish, disrespectful, no good hoe you ever met in your life. Shalom, Yasha, man. Like straight up and down. Because I know some women who are sluts. Very nice ladies. Very kind. Very compassionate. Very giving. You know what I'm saying? You tell her, hey, baby, I need you to do X, Y, Z, and they going to do it. No questions asked. But she ain't going to keep them loins to herself. She going to get them loins away. You know what I'm talking about? She giving them away. When she feel like it, she giving them away. Yeah, man, and you got a woman, she ain't going to give them away. But she ain't going to listen to nothing you say. You know what I'm talking about? She ain't going to listen to nothing you say. Just how Lisa just said, that lady said she's been married for 15 years. She's a whore. Because she's rebellious. She's selfish. You know what I'm talking about? And she probably ain't never cheated on her husband. Probably never thought about cheating on her husband. Husband hate his life. Hate to see her. Hate to come home to her. That ain't no way to live. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't no way to live. That's tough. Because when you say that, that's saying that you can't yield. You know what I'm saying? That means you're competing with this man. That means when that happens, guess what's always going to happen? That's what's always going to happen. That means there's always going to be strife and contention all the time. That can't work. Like, why would you want to be in an environment where this the person that you're supposed to love and they supposed to love you and there's constant strife and contention? You know what I'm saying? No, that's not going to work. You remember what the Lord told you? He said, can Satan be divided against Satan? A house divided against itself can't stand. There's no way that house would be able to endure any attack, to endure any attack from the adversary because you're already disjointed. You already got somebody who is not willing to yield or follow nothing you got going on. You got a Korah in your house. Yeah, that's not going to work. See, when people hear that, they thinking you saying, oh, the woman can't have, ain't nobody saying all of that. Ain't no man with any level of security, confidence, and self-validation is concerned with his woman expressing herself to the point where he feel like he need to stop it. You know what I'm saying? You know how we know this? Because Yahuwah allow you to pour out your heart and express your concerns. Shoot, Yahuwah done step to you and say, hey man, plead against me and tell me what I did to you then since you acting like this. So the thought process that if you say you a man and you say you serve God, but you don't give your woman the opportunity to express herself in certain situations, you a bold-faced liar. If you feel threatened at the fact that she can, now it's different if you expressing your opinion and I didn't ask you for it. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even got nothing to do because you a woman, nigga. That's just rude and disrespectful. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's no different with a man. If you offering opinions to another man and that man didn't ask you for your opinions, don't be shocked when you get a negative response because he didn't ask you for that. Now, it's one thing if you come to somebody and say, hey, I got a thought on that. May I share that with you? Now you're giving them the option if they say, you know what, no, I'm cool. I don't really want to. Woo. You got to let that. You know what some people do? Say it anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff, man. I don't give niggas my opinion if they don't ask for it. You know why? You know why I said it? Because if you wanted my opinion, guess what you would have did? You would have asked for it. If you didn't ask for it, that means you weren't concerned with what I had to say about it. So I should volunteer to you because I feel like I got an opinion and you should have it. You see how that's going to be negative? And if you've been around enough men, you know that's not going to go well over with a man. You can call it pride, you can call it ego, you can call it whatever you want. But if this person has not asked you for your opinion and you give it to him anyway, don't be shocked if it's negative in their return to that interaction. Now, if you respond negatively and you ask for the opinion, or the person asked to give you their opinion, and you say sure, give it, and you respond negatively, you immature. You know what I'm saying? You can't respond negatively if this person shared their opinion and you didn't like it, and now you want to get mad. Nigga, grow up. You know what you should say? I'll take it under advisement. That's it. Even if you don't agree with it, I'll take it under advisement. Abraham didn't necessarily agree with what Sarah said. It troubled his heart. But he didn't act on it. He didn't say, well, man, what the hell is wrong with you? He heard it. He took it under advisement and was troubling it. And then Yahuwah came and told him, man, listen to your wife, man. And then he did it. He didn't go off on her because she expressed herself. Like, come on, man. Got to be better than that. You should have it should be an ability for everybody under your roof to be able to express themselves to you, man. You know why most people don't want to express themselves, man? Because a lot of times they know they finna bring folly to this man, and they know that man ain't trying to hear that. So they be like this here, see, I can't talk to him. No, you already know you finna bring some nonsense. You already know you finna bring some nonsense. That's why you came with that. You know you finna say bring some nonsense. You know you bringing folly. See, people be acting like they don't know they bringing folly. You know you bringing folly, and you know that person ain't gonna go for no folly. See, it's real easy to bring folly to other folly participators, but when you know it's somebody who ain't going for no folly, you got nervousness and trepidation because you know they're not going for that. Some of y'all know that. You know some of y'all ain't never go to your parents with some of the stuff you wanted to ask them because you know that junk was stupid. You know what I'm talking about? And you already knew what they were going to say. But you wanted to be mad with them. You know what I'm talking about? Because you knew that they were going to tell you, man, don't you bring that silly behind junk to me. Boy, what's wrong with you? What you thinking about? Man, my daddy don't never let me do nothing. Because that junk dumb. You know what it is? Silly laughing because he know this here. Because if it makes sense, guess what your daddy always told us? Cool, son, go ahead. You know what I'm talking about? See, you ain't never had no problem when you knew it wasn't no father because you know, Pops probably let me do this one here. But when it was some old, Pops, you know, I want to go do this here with my friends. And you already know, man, this junk sounds stupid. You know the junk sounds stupid. Why you saying it out loud to him? In your brain, you be like, damn, it didn't sound as stupid in my mind as it is as it's coming out of my mouth. Praise you. We all been there, man. You know what I'm saying? We all been cheering. You know you had the one parent you could bring your stupidity to and the one you couldn't. Maybe with both of them you could bring it to. Maybe both of them you could. But y'all know what I'm talking about. It could have been your grandparent. I had somebody tell me that the other day. They were talking about grandparents be soft. This, that, then the third, man. I forgot what we were talking about. But I know this here. You got some grandparents gonna let them kids do whatever, and you got some grandparents don't slap the fire them children. You know what I'm talking about? They don't give a damn about none of that. Not no, oh, you ain't never let us do that. You know, that be the stereotype, but then you got some okay, play with me, boy. Grandson or not, I'm gonna knock this nigga out. Come on, what's the last thing? Where we at?
John 8:39.
Come on.
Said the answer said unto him, Abraham is our father. Yahweh said unto them,
What he said?
If you are Abraham's children, you will do the works of Abraham.
Do the works of Abraham.
But now you seek to kill me, a man that I told you the truth, which I heard of Elohim. This did not Abraham. You do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, We be not born of fornication. We have one father, Elohim.
Go ahead.
Yahweh said unto them, If Elohim were Yahweh, you would love me, for I proceed forth.
Didn't he say, if you was Abraham as your father, you would do the what?
Works of Abraham.
What's the works of Abraham? Works by faith. So when he said good understanding, have all those that work. He said, what is the work of God? That you what? Believe on him that he hath sent. And that's what he said. So now we went through a lot of things talking about children, really. But come back to Ecclesiastes 5 and 12. You know how it goes. We could read something and they could go somewhere else. But then we got to bring it back to the point at hand. Ecclesiastes 5 and 12.
The sleep of a laboring man is sweet,
whether he eat
little or much,
but the abundance
of the rich will not suffer him to sleep.
Read me Luke 6:24. Let's see why the abundance of the rich won't suffer him to sleep. Go ahead.
But woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation.
Go ahead.
Woe unto you that are full, for you shall hunger.
Go ahead.
Woe unto you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets.
That's why the rich man can't sleep. It's destruction unto him. He already got his consolation. My God, today. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But give me Revelation 14 and 13, why you can see why the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. In that even in the bread, with the bread of affliction, he give his beloved sleep, which is why he say merciful men. I'm about to say it wrong. Hold on. No, the righteous perish, and no man lay it to heart, and merciful men are taken away, and none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. Come on, man.
And I heard a voice from Shammai saying unto me, Right, Baruch, the dead which die in the Lord, yea, saith the Ruach, that they may rest from their labors,
that they
rest from their labors.
And they works do, so they might rest from their what?
From their labors.
So the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. You know what I'm saying? Because he gave his beloved sleep. So when you look at Mashiach, he rose up early. Did he rise up early to sit up late? No, he didn't. He went to bed right around the time everybody laid down. God dang it. I don't know why I just did that. I don't close out. I used to be able to do that, and I'd be forgetting that I can't. I'd be forgetting that I cannot do that. That's my bad. So let's go back to Psalms 127. Read me verse 3. We're going to hit Deuteronomy 28 and 1 right after that. Psalms 127 and 3.
So, lo, children, a heritage of Yahuwah, the fruit of his womb, his reward.
The children are what? Yeah, that was my bad, Meek. I had try to look at something and not just close the room.
The heritage of Yahuwah.
Heritage is children are the inheritance of Yahuwah. Now, how do we know that? Because we know that. Get him Exodus 13 and 1 on the house. No, that was my fault.
Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever open the womb among the children of Yasharal, of man and of beast, it is mine.
It is what?
It is mine.
So children are the heritage of Yahuwah. Heritage is inheritance. Children are the inheritance of Yahuwah. They're his. And the fruit of the womb is what? His reward. So when we come back to Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And this is spinning from Asher. Blessed are his children. And his brethren. Go ahead. Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command you this day, that Yahuwah your Elohim will set you on high above all nations of earth.
Mm-hmm.
And all these blessings shall come on you and overtake you.
Mm-hmm.
You shall hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. Baruch you in the city, Baruch you in the field. Baruch the fruit of your body.
Baruch the fruit of your what?
Of your body.
The fruit of your what?
Your body.
And what else?
The fruit of your ground.
Mm.
The fruit of your cattle, the increase of your kind, and the flocks of your sheep.
Your obedience brings the blessing to the fruit of your body. The fruit of the body is your offspring. It's your offspring. How do we know this? Psalms 132 and 10, just on the house. Now we're looking at this because Yahushua obeyed, therefore he was blessed. The fruit of his body is blessed. That means his offspring is blessed. Because the children are his inheritance. The fruit of the womb is his reward. In this aspect, the fruit of the womb is those who come from out of the earth or resurrect from the dead. Go ahead.
For your servant David's sake, turn not away the face of your anointed. Yahuwah have sworn in truth unto David, he will not turn from it.
Out of the fruit
of your body will I set upon your throne.
Tell them fruit of your body, man. Parade and what? Because body could be different than what I'm thinking in my mind.
But 10.
That's it. The belly. The belly. Give them all the definitions for Batin.
Mm-hmm. Belly, womb, body, abdomen, as seat of hunger, as a seat of mental faculties, of depth of Sheol. That's figurative.
Sometimes Batin can be used with covetousness as body, but these people who coming out of the sun. If that's the fruit of his body, hold on, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it today. Not today. You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, man, for sure. Praise Yahuwah, bro. Think about that, though. His obedience allowed the fruit of his body. He said the fruit of the womb is his reward. That means everybody who is born of God is a reward to God. That's how valuable and precious you are. That he seeks to inherit you. My God, today. They don't look at it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So I say, because he said everybody don't want to be married, which is true. And everybody don't want children, which is true. Because he was looking at it from a natural perspective. You tied down the woman. I say, but your God said marriage is honorable. Because this is the thing. You can't say you serve God, but you want to have random sex with a multitude of women. You can't say you represent the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but you want to move like a nigga. Because you can't justify that. You either need to abstain or you need to marry. Because it's not about you. It's not about your desires. It's about the mighty name which you are sanctified by and which you're called by, of which you do not besmirch, defile, or profane under any situation and circumstance because you just want to fulfill your personal desires. That means you wicked as hell. Because you care about you more than you care about him, which is what Paul wrote them people. They're pleasures of man more than pleasures of Elohim, pleasures of God. Remember what we read Wednesday and we read all the time. You got to serve him with a ready heart and a willing mind. You have to take pleasure in delighting and serving this man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, it don't take much effort to have sex with a bunch of women. That's whether you tricking or you not tricking. It don't take much effort to do that. You know what I'm saying? It don't take a lot of effort to invest into sin. It don't take a lot of effort to invest in your flesh because your flesh is already seeking to indulge in pleasure participating activities in to begin with. Your flesh already has a desire and an inclination in doing that. Now again, his laws, his commandments are not grievous. They're not burdensome. They're not hard to fulfill. But when you don't have a desire to fulfill them, it's always going to be difficult. I know most of you in your lifetime has something that you love to do that other people just thought was the most difficult thing in the world, but it was easy for you to fulfill because you had a delight in doing it. You know what I'm saying? Some people look at, I can't go to the gym 5 days a week. Man, that junk's so hard. When that's something you desire to do, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's hard for you to go train because this is what you do. If you saying, hey, I'm trying to bulk up to put on mass, so I'm going to eat like this, it's not hard for you. Hey, I'm trying to cut fat and cut weight, so you eating like this, it's not going to be hard for you to do. If you in a particular vocation that you love to do, doing electrical work ain't going to be hard for you. Doing plumbing ain't going to be hard for you because you take pleasure in doing it. So when you talk about serving God and all the requisite things that's required of you, whether they be of faith or whether they be of the instructions, it's not going to be difficult for you because you take pleasure in doing it. Things are only difficult when you don't want to do it. That's it. And I don't care what nobody's saying. I don't care what it is. But more specifically with this. This is not difficult to do if this is what you want to do. Meaning, no matter what adversity, no matter what tribulations, no matter what you encounter, you would be willing to do whatever necessary to overcome it because this is what you want to do. Guess what? If you really, really love somebody and you married to them, no matter what you encounter in your marriage, guess what you ain't going to do, sis? Get divorced. You know why? Because this is where I want to be. So whatever we encounter, we're going to get past that. You know why? Because this is where I want to be. When it's not where you want to be at, the most smallest thing will cause you to hit the door. Because you don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? When you had a job that you ain't like doing, you was ready to quit. You know why? Because you ain't want to be there.
For any reason.
Any reason you could think of. Wind blew too hard today. I ain't going to work. Let it be something that you enjoy doing. And guess what you're going to do? Never miss a day. Never complain. Never do nothing because this is what I want to do. Listen, there was this video of this white woman complaining about being a stay-at-home mom, and all these people in the comment, they got mad at me. I said, that woman acting like that because she don't want to do that. But you shouldn't have said it's not like that. She said she wanted to do this. They talking about it's hard. It ain't hard. That whole lazy. She just lazy. And you know, people get it. You can't say that about her. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Because you crying about stuff, listen to her conversation. She lazy. Because you know what she was saying? I think my husband should come home and help me. You've been here all day long. We're not talking about, hey, grab these little damn hellions you got over here. Why should he help you clean the house? You've been here all day. What was the purpose of you? You could have went to work. Oh, I don't feel like cooking. Nigga, what? That's your job. What did you think that stay-at-home mom encompassed?
Supposed to work 50% of the work at home too.
Man, ain't no reason for her to be there.
I feel like people get stay-at-home mom confused with like people who are like married to rich people when it comes down to being philanthropy or social rights. I think that's definitely never been the case. That's what they confuse.
Your husband ain't no social butterfly. This nigga ain't known in the community. You ain't going to no doggone no galas talking about we raising money for the poor people.
Yeah, I think that's what people think about when they think about it. I think they watch too many movies, too many TV shows.
A lot of them heifers lazy.
Yeah.
You're lazy. You know what I'm talking about? You don't want to do nothing.
Because you would have to literally have to do something if you was involved in the community.
But you want to paint him as a terrible individual because you sorry as hell. That's different if you get up and go to work. Then of course you be like, hey, you could do this, that, there, and the third. But let's be honest, we all know this here. Let's just be honest. I don't care if you're married or not married. Ain't nobody deep cleaning their house on a day-to-day basis. And you know how we know this? Because there's some of us who clean people's houses, and we know that the average person, the mass majority of people are not deep cleaning their house on an everyday basis. That cleaning is stressing you out to that capacity. And depending on how old your children are, you ain't cleaning that much any goddamn way. You know what I'm talking about? You is not going through the house wiping down baseboards. You know what I'm talking about? Dusting ceiling fans. You ain't wiping no walls. You ain't pulling out the stove. You ain't pulling out the refrigerator and sleeping and mopping behind it. Most niggas don't take the food out their refrigerator and clean that hole. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't cleaning your oven on a regular basis. You ain't hit that hole with no doggone oven off. All that damn built up grease and grime in that hole. You is not scrubbing the tile in your bathroom on a regular basis. You is not doing that weekly because it ain't required for you to do it weekly, and anybody who clean for real already know that. You may do that every other week, or a deep clean may be done once a month or every other month. You ain't cleaning your goddamn house like that. Who the hell you think you talking to? I just gotta clean and clean. What is you cleaning? Unless you live in a pigsty, you nasty heifer, you. No, I'm just in there. If I didn't clean for a living, I wouldn't be able to know that. I would. Absolutely, most people are spot cleaning. Now, the most cleaning that anybody got to do is if you got toddler, because them niggas throw stuff everywhere, and that's just picking stuff up. You know what I'm talking about? But you talking about really cleaning? You ain't steam cleaning that carpet. You ain't got no carpet machine. You can call Stanley Steamer, nigga. You know, for real, man. Like people act like people ain't in the real world and really know what's going on, man. You not working that hard, cuz. You know why you working hard? We didn't talk about this before. Because you put off